How's it going, everyone? This is Precisely Podcast, a podcast about beer and video games. I'm your host, Beau, and with me, as always, my tale to your Sonic. How are you, Kelly?
Oh, I'm great. Thanks, Beau. How are you?
I am doing very well, thank you. Let me introduce one of our biggest supporters of Precisely, a collector of the obscure and the games less talked about, a man that speaks many languages, and the farthest away guest we have had on the cast, Markus, aka Mackin_retro gamer. How are you doing, sir?
Jag mår alldeles utmärkt. Hello. That was Swedish.
I love it. Swedish for what?
I'm perfectly fine. Thank you.
Oh,
Awesome. Oh man, it's good to hear from you. We've been Instagram buddies for a long time.
Yeah.
And just have seen you grow visually with the games that you're playing. You've introduced me to games that I've been wanting to play and that I have played. You get me thinking more about shmups all the time. So yeah, man, it's good to hear from you, especially so far away. You're 6 hours ahead of us right now.
Yeah, it's 8 o'clock here soon. So,
And we're going to be drinking early here because it's 2 p.m.
but hey,
that's
it's a Saturday.
Yeah, I was just telling you guys earlier, found a stray dog, and man, it just like got me all wrecked today, like not knowing what to do. And I was just like, oh my gosh, podcast today. Thank God I can crack open a beer at 2 without my wife being angry at me. Like, perfect. So talking about beer, let's get into that. What are you guys drinking on, Kelly? Do you want to start?
Sure thing. Ooh,
awesome.
Just cracked it a little aggressively there. So I actually have the one that you gave me for Christmas, the Bentwater Brewing Double Thunder Funk Double IPA.
Oh, nice.
I was like super excited about this because the art is super weird. It's like 2 gorillas fighting, but it's like neon pink and neon blue with like outlines of yellow. I don't know. It just makes me kind of want to drink it more.
Yeah, it reminded me of the Sock and Bopper robots, sort of, but as gorillas.
Yeah, kind of. I could see that. It says it's brewed with 2-row and crystal malt and aggressively hopped with Mosaic, Simcoe, and Cascade hops. And it's from Bentwater Brewing, like I said, from Lynn, Massachusetts. And I just took my first sip. It just kind of tastes like a double IPA. Like there's nothing special about it, which is fine.
Okay.
Like I'm cool with that. Like it doesn't have any like, fruit flavors or anything. It's just kind of like a citrus, double IPA. But I like it a lot actually. So it's pretty tasty. Glad. So we'll see. I do have a second one if we get to a second beer. I know that's kind of aggressive for 2 p.m. on a Saturday. We're just sitting in your office recording a podcast. But, if we get there, I have one of the other ones that you gave me for Christmas. So
hey, it's a Saturday.
Right? I know.
So it's fine. I
was great. I just had my cup of coffee and was doing stuff. And then I had my lunch and I was like, oh, I get to have a beer now. Right? This is nice. So
what are you drinking on, Markus?
Yeah, I went local because that's what I heard you guys usually do. So
we do.
Brewery, I guess in Gothenburg. It's a couple of 20 minutes car from here. It's the big city on the west coast, and it's from Dugges. It's called Tropic Thunder. It's a sour fruit ale. I love it. I don't really like IPAs. I realized yesterday because I bought a bunch of beers for doing this, and I cracked one open just taste it, and man, not my kind of beer.
Yeah, it's different.
But this one I do like. It's should I read the label just like Kelly always?
Sure.
Yeah. I feel like Kelly reads from a label all the time.
I do.
It's okay. So here we go. Tropic Thunder is a joint effort with nomadic brewer Brian Strumpke of Stillwater Artisanal. Or it's not artisanal, is it?
No, you're right. Artisanal.
Yeah. Artisanal. We brew this sour ale with lactobacillus and let it ferment with plentiful of mango, passion fruit, and peach sweet. And it's absolutely delicious.
That sounds really good.
4.5 alcoholic.
Perfect.
Wow. That sounds really, really good, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like we have a Tropic Thunder beer here in Pennsylvania.
I'm sure
Someone brews
somebody
it.
does, yeah.
It rings a bell, but when it's, different countries, I'm sure you can steal the name, even though it's not really stealing,
No,
It's a
this is a
movie.
movie. Yeah.
Oh, I guess so. Yeah, it's a marijuana strain too. Yeah.
Okay, well, it's a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
All the big points there.
Exactly.
A marijuana strain. Yeah, they must have patented that one.
They might have.
Maybe.
Patent that seed.
Maybe.
All right. Well, I am drinking on Thomas Hooker Brewing Company Under the Wanaka Tree. It's a New Zealand hopped India Pale Ale. It has this beautiful bonsai tree that's in a lake, it looks like, with mountains overseeing it. So the can says Under the Wanaka Tree is inspired by a lone willow growing out of Lake Wanaka in New Zealand. Heavy doses of Stabra and New Zealand grown Matuka hops impart a deep haze and creamy head, while smooth and juicy flavors of orange and coconut abound. And it's 6.5%. And it's really good. It tastes to me like a glacier runoff, if that makes any sense. Just really fresh and nature ridden. Or maybe the can's just speaking to me with the tree and the lake. I don't know.
Good marketing.
But it's good. Yeah. It definitely works. So yeah, cheers, guys.
Yeah, cheers.
So what have you guys been up to? How were your holidays? Markus, you want to tell us?
Yeah, well, due to the pandemic, the holidays were pretty low key. Usually I would go to my parents' house with my kids or celebrate with my girlfriend if I don't have the kids. So, but this year me and my girlfriend and with her kids and my daughters, we celebrate together. It was nice, just the six of us. And New Year's, only my girlfriend and I. We had a nice dinner, ate some lobster and so on.
Yum.
Yeah. And, it's been very chill. You just hang out at home, and if it's nice outside, you try to be out. We have it's dark here right now. So around 3 p.m., it gets dark. It starts to get dark.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Is that because of how close you are to the hemisphere, or
we're up in the northern hemisphere, and even if I'm in the southwest Sweden, it's pretty far up. So sunrise is at maybe 9 a.m. and then we have sundown at as I said 4 p.m.
Wow.
So you try at lunch, if you sleep in during the holidays, you try to get out as fast as you can so you get some sort of sunlight.
Right? I bet. Wow. That's amazing. Who would have thought? That reminds me of that one movie. What was it, 28 Days of Night or something?
Yeah.
But I think they were in Alaska and it was vampires.
My father, he's from way up north, and they have the endless nights there as well.
Oh, man. I couldn't do it. I'm so grateful for sunlight.
You should go there in the summer, because then the sun never sets.
Oh my gosh. That sounds so bad, actually.
Yeah, it is, because bad for your sleep.
Yeah. Oh man, I bet. Gotta have blackout curtains and visors on always.
So I have a question quick before we switch gears. I know that we're in, for anybody who's listening to this in the future, we're in the middle of the COVID-19 pandemic. So obviously you're in a completely different country than us. So how is that affecting you guys right now? Do you have lockdowns currently or anything very strict, or are you a little bit freer than us? I don't know.
I thought actually Sweden would be known for its non-strict lockdowns, because it's been pretty much voluntarily.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because we don't have the legislation currently. They actually voted through a pandemic law. I think this morning or something, or no, sorry, not today, but Friday, to be able to shut down shopping malls and so on because, they have needed to. Otherwise, it's been during the spring. It was very, very much everyone took their own responsibility, tried to work from home as much as possible, and so on. But no real government law saying that you couldn't do this and that.
Okay.
So basically, everything open, everything just as normal. But if you went to IKEA, I did once, and you're alone there. It's like wasteland of IKEA.
Interesting.
And it's fantastic. I wish it was every time it was there.
Right? Oh
That's
man, that was the best part of the pandemic. Like just driving into work because my work never closed, and I was just like, wow, like when this used to take 20 minutes, it's now taking like 5 minutes on the highway. It's so nice. Yeah,
absolutely.
But now everyone's driving everywhere, so it's back to normal. Are people wearing masks then in Sweden?
No, we didn't have that mask sort of in they didn't have, what do you call it?
Like a law or
that's not a law, but a recommendation. That was not recommended to wear. Yeah, because they said it's more important to keep your distance, and if you wear your mask, then you get a full sense of safety, and you stop actually staying apart from people.
Oh,
so that's was the main idea by not wearing masks. Now they have
that's sort
actually.
Of smart, though.
Yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense because having masks and standing close to someone, well, then you're already at risk. If you don't wear a mask and you're 2 meters apart, well, less risk.
Mm-hmm.
So makes sense. But now they actually in traffic and communal traffic, buses and trains and so on, you need to wear a mask.
Okay.
So
okay. Are you seeing an uptick in like cases, and that's why they're looking to pass legislation now?
Exactly. It's been pretty bad here since mid-October, November.
Okay.
And we got that strain in the mutation in UK. It's been here as well now, and and there's a lot of stress on people working in Medicare.
Right.
No, it's not Medicare. That's your sort of
healthcare. Yes.
Yeah. People in healthcare and hospitals are overworked.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah, not to keep talking about COVID, but I'm sure other listeners are interested because we're like in our own bubble in America, and it's sort of polarizing. Like there's two different sides of it. Like some people don't care at all and are just fed up with everything and not really law abiding, and other people are taking it very seriously. And unfortunately, a lot of restaurants are closing down permanently because of it, because they can't afford to keep paying rent and their employees. Because our laws right now are like no restaurants are allowed, and you can shop wherever you want to, which sort of sucks, because everyone's out shopping all the time. So you can go to IKEA or Walmart or wherever and be shoulder to shoulder to people, but you can't go into a restaurant where the waiters and waitresses are wearing shields and masks and have a nice dinner with your loved one or family. So
that sucks.
Yeah, it does.
They actually, the thing they did here was that they first they had a no alcohol after 10 p.m.
Yeah, we did something similar. Yeah,
and then they moved that to 8 p.m. because apparently kids wouldn't stop partying. So, but
what's
now,
the drinking age in Sweden?
I think is it 18? I'm so old, I don't remember.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, I'm 43, so I think it was 18, and then I think you can shop alcohol when you're 20.
Oh, okay.
No. Okay. Wait a minute.
Oh.
This is the reverse. You buy alcohol. I think you can buy alcohol in the store. We have the Systembolaget, which is a state-owned, the only place where you can buy alcohol, or a certain percentage alcohol. You can buy light beer and so on in stores, but not 4.5% and so on.
Yeah.
So I think it's 18 to buy there, but usually 20 when you're served, or the other way around. Who knows? Who cares?
So you can.
We're old. Yeah. We're old enough.
So you can drink at your house. So at 18.
Yeah.
Technically, that's interesting. I sort of like that. We're just all around 21 nationwide.
All right.
So, yeah. Either way, so your holiday sounded great. Kelly, you want to tell us about yours?
Sure. Yeah, my holidays were pretty good. I obviously didn't go anywhere. So it was a lot of hanging out at home. I bought myself Donut County as a little Christmas gift because it was on sale for like $3 on the eShop, and I beat it like Christmas Eve. Like I bought it Christmas Eve and beat it Christmas Eve. So it took me like 2 hours or something. It was an excellent game, and I really recommend it. Honestly, I kind of want to buy the physical just because I loved it so much.
Yeah.
But it was such a fun game, and I really enjoyed like the humor in it and everything. And so much so that my sister was like, I need a new game on my Switch to keep me sane, like, because she's at home with my parents now. She lives in Washington, D.C., and basically just decided to come home and stay home until the end of January, until things subside, which is very smart because otherwise I would have been driving myself down there to pick her up the other day. And so she's at home and she's just like, I'm working from home and then I just need something to keep me sane. So I was like, well, get this game. It's only $3 and I think you'd really like it. And she bought it and she beat it in like a day too, because I just thought it was so funny because she doesn't like play games like we do, but she just was busted through it. She's like, I love that game. It was so fun. So I got her Katamari for Christmas and I need to get it to her so she can enjoy that too. Yeah. Once I knew that she liked that game, I was like, she's going to love this. So
yeah.
Donut County, is that the one where you push a hole around and basically Katamari in reverse?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was so good. But yeah, other than that, I've been working. Business is doing really well. Got a lot of orders coming through, doing a lot of inventory work and things like that. We just actually today we're working on shelving in the basement to get everything it looks really official in my basement now, Beau. Next time you come over,
I can't wait.
It looks like a freaking business down there.
Is that the other half of the basement, not the one that you guys like remodeled?
Not the finished half, like the storage side. That's essentially where my inventory is. And then and just been getting a couple good pickups from that. People have been telling me about, like friends have been like, hey, I got this stuff and I don't really want it anymore. And, I'm like, great, I'll take it. And it's been getting me some good stuff. So
perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you helped me out on a backwards compatible PS3 the other day when I saw you, which was so nice. You gave me such a good deal. Thank you. I can't wait to be playing PS2 games and with an HDMI cord.
Yeah.
It'll be really nice. For Christmas for me, hung out with family, got to see them, which I haven't seen my parents since Thanksgiving. And that was like a 5-minute visit and I hated it. And I was like, Dad, Mom, like, I want to be with you guys. I want to see you. If we have to mask up, let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
And we did, and we were all safe about it. And it just felt really good. Like nobody wanted to leave because it's been so long since we saw each other, but everyone's good now. Gift wise though, my wife surprised me with an amazing neon light, Beau's game room neon light. If you saw my Instagram, I've posted some pictures about it.
Beautiful.
And I love it. Kelly, I guess, helped design the letters.
I think Kayla contacted me in like, I want to say like August or September. I was like, I got this idea for Beau for Christmas. I'm like, yo, that's epic. He's going to love it. And then she like would text me every once in a while, like, what do you think about this? I'm like, yes, absolutely. Like, so she was telling me about this for months, and I just had to sit on the podcast and like see you and be like, hey, Beau, what's up? You're going to love your Christmas gift. I couldn't tell you anything because I didn't want to give it away, but it was so good, and I knew you'd love it. I knew you'd love it. She had such good taste. So shout out, Kayla. Great job.
Yeah, I was pretty amazed. I was shocked by it. Because I remember her asking me months before Christmas. She was like, "What's something you would want for Christmas, or like what's like an all-time like present of yours that you don't have that's like gaming related?" And like I never want her to buy me gaming stuff because it's like either I might already have it or I don't want it, you know. It's just hard to buy gamers gaming presents. And
absolutely.
I think she might have like voiced it like what's like a holy grail item, and I was like, I would love like an original Nintendo like neon sign.
Right.
And I was like, but they're like, I'm not willing to spend thousands of dollars on one, you know, and I don't want her to spend that much money either. And I wasn't sure what she was getting at, but that was always on the back of my mind. Like, oh my gosh, is she going to buy me like a fake Nintendo sign? Like, I don't want that either. So when I saw it, I was just like, I was flabbergasted. I was just like, this is such a great present. This is such a good gift. Like, I love the color too. It's really like just so bright that you don't even have to have the light on.
Yeah,
you just have that sign on. Oh my gosh.
But it's like it's not like, so it's yellow. So it's not like when I turn on like my blue PS2 neon sign, that's like legit, like from the stores. It's just the whole room is freaking blue, and it's like, it's kind of obnoxious, but when you turn, and that's why I don't have it on all the time, but when I like I'm in the mood for it, I'll do it. But yours is like, you could leave it on and it's almost like a natural light color, like with the yellow, it doesn't really bother it. I would think it wouldn't bother you, whereas the blue is just like you're living in an Eiffel 65 song, and I don't want that.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I would have been at like the bowling alley all the time,
right,
you know?
Exactly. Yeah. That's what it feels like. So when I'm in the mood to be in a bowling alley, but we can't bowl because we're in a pandemic, I turn on my neon sign so I can feel like I'm in the bowling alley arcade. And then like, I just have to find a candle that smells like Marlboro Lights, and then just light
like
that.
Cigarettes.
Yeah, and light that, and have some like stale beer and like food just laying out to get the full atmosphere, and then I'll be fine.
Stale nachos.
Yeah, bowling in the background for the sound.
Talking about bowling, my wife like saw this carpet. It was like a tweet. And she tagged me in it or DM'd me it, and it was the bowling carpet, like the black carpet with the neon.
God, I love those. I love them.
The tweet was like, "I just found out you can still buy this carpet." Like, and Kayla messages me this tweet, and she's like, "For our next house, for your game room." And I'm like, I am so happy I married you. Like, you are amazing.
You gotta explain what's this bowling carpet? I have no idea what you're talking about.
So
okay,
it's like, it's black carpet with like fireworks going off in it. So like really bright neon colors and lights. If you look up bowling carpet, I feel like you would be able to find it. And like when the black lights go on in the bowling alleys for like night bowl, it just shines. It glows in the dark. So yeah, she messaged me that.
Okay, I see.
Yeah, epic. Like it looks like 80s retro, you know, where
fugly as hell.
Yes, exactly. Yes, it is. Maybe I would just want like a section of it in front of my kiosk, but I
was talking about public transport seats with Masked Gamer from Germany. He was playing his Evercade on his way to work. I saw those the upholstery on the seats. They look the same as they do here in Sweden. They have some sort of pattern and blue with some yellow, red.
Yep. I know exactly what you're talking
Yeah, they will probably. My theory is they look like that because that's the way you mask vomit.
Oh my
And I
gosh.
feel there's something similar going on with the bowling carpet here. You need to
Yes.
mask stains and vomit when whatever.
Stains. Yes, I
Cigarettes
agree
being
with
put
you.
out.
Yeah.
I completely agree with you. I never even thought of that. I'm actually looking up pictures right now. Yeah. Oh yeah, completely.
So
That's
this was kind of like so when I was initially doing my my stand and like I was revamping it, I was putting my figures on that pegboard wall and it was black, and my idea was just do a black pegboard wall, and then I cut out stencils, and I was going to buy neon spray paint and do like a bowling alley carpet pattern behind it with the neon spray paint and the stencils. But it didn't work because the paint wasn't good. Like it just didn't work.
Yeah.
And I was so upset because I had this wonderful idea that I was just going to make this bowling alley carpet background and it was going to be so retro looking and people be like, "Oh, I remember that stuff. That's so cool." And yeah, then it just kind of fell apart.
Hey, either way, I actually went and saw your stand at American Daydreams and Antiques and Miscellaneous. Is that the full title of the shop?
Yeah, American Daydream Antiques and Miscellanea is the full.
That's a huge title for
But you
a
can just
shop.
call it American Daydream. It's a lot.
I love it. It's like it wants to be a sentence, but it's not.
Yeah, but it's like it's all encompassing because it's not just antiques. Like you were there, it's not just antiques. You have to include the miscellanea because there's
absolutely
plenty of other shit there.
Markus, walking into this big building, it's a bunch of like consignment little shops. Like so, everyone has their own stand. Kelly's upstairs in her retro and rad stand, and it's just like a hipster antique shop. It's like everything you want to look at, knickknacks, like toys,
okay, so it's like a
comics.
shop, Kelly's.
Yes, but it's all like old stuff in the sense. Kelly, do you want to explain?
Yeah, so I don't know what you have over there as far as like quote unquote antique stores. Like, do you do that kind of stuff over there?
Oh yeah, there's a lot of antique stores in Sweden.
Okay.
So, but I think what you're describing sounds a lot like London's Camden Lock Market.
Okay.
Basically, a huge area dedicated to small stands.
Yeah.
And I think they're pretty much permanent. Basically, it's just typical flea market with different stands, but these are more permanent.
Right. Yeah. So this is it's
indoors.
Yeah, this is an old barn that was repurposed. So there's 2 floors, and then they kind of section out a little space for each vendor. So there's about 25 of us that have spaces there. And so we just put our items in our space and tag them with our like code and our like how much we want it to be, and then they take care of the rest of it. Essentially, cool. So we just come in and pick up the check. You don't really have to be there, like you don't have to do anything. I do, but like you don't. If you were like somebody who worked full time, you could just put things in there on the side and it would just be like extra money. But this is now like my full time thing, so I work behind the counter sometimes. But yeah.
It was so cool. Like just walking into it, there's like doll heads and like cool artwork and like books and magazines that I wanted to like pick up and read each one. Like there's skateboards. And then like I turn the corner and there's Kelly behind the counter. And then there's a shit ton of Legos and Game Boy games that I saw. I saw Survivor Kids.
Survival Kids.
Yeah, Survival Kids, which is like a $90 Game Boy game, like just cartridge only. I'm like, holy shit, like you don't see this. Even at like retro game stores, you don't see it.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to buy, they had upstairs, there was a clear green Zenith CRT 13-inch TV. And I'm like, oh, I need a new TV for the N64 kiosk. Like, granted, you wouldn't be able to see how cool this green shell was being in the kiosk, but ended up not buying it because it only had an antenna hookup and not like RCA cable hookup. But really cool stuff in there. And your stand was awesome, Kelly. I ended up picking up Bomberman Max Red Challenger for the Game Boy Color. And started playing that. It's tough. It's like a weird game. Like if you get touched
are
once,
weird.
Yeah, like I love them for party games, but by yourself, it's sort of tough.
Just made me remind me of Remote Control from MTV, the game show.
Mm-hmm.
You remember that? Or are you old enough to?
No.
Yeah,
No.
because they always had. We had that in MTV Europe as well, and they always had the Zenith TV for that or Zenith VCR, whatever, as a prize.
Oh,
We never had the brand Zenith here in Sweden as well.
wow. Huh. That's
I don't know
interesting.
if we had this. Oh, we
Remote Control. Yeah, it's an American production, so you
okay.
pretty much
I
had
don't
it.
think. I
But
think
I
I
think
would
it
have
was
too
from
young
the
for that.
late 80s.
87 until 90. Yeah,
Yeah,
1990.
that's
Yeah.
pre me. Oh man.
Yep. I'm old.
Yeah, I was just born then. So no, but I sort of want to watch it now. That sounds cool.
Yeah, it was a good game show. I loved game shows as a kid.
I still do.
Not so much.
One of my favorite, not necessarily game show, but arcade game to play is Deal or No Deal. Have you guys ever played that in the arcade?
I know what you're talking about, but I don't personally play it.
Where you like pick the women holding suitcases and you try to like not pick the $1 million one because you're hoping that the last like case is $1 million that you picked early in the game. And oh my gosh, it's so much fun. And so you're just like, that redhead number 22. I want her out. And then the guy calls you and he's like, all right, I'll give you $16,000 if you quit now. It's like, no deal, no motherfucking deal. Like there's a no deal button or a deal button and you just smash them. Oh, it's so much fun. In the arcade, like you're not winning money, you're winning tickets. But man, if you get like 50,000 tickets, 100,000 tickets, or like the monetary value of those tickets, it's just so much that comes out that you're like, you hit a jackpot every time, it feels like.
Cool. I love Buzz for the PlayStation. Buzz the music quiz and Buzz the
with the little like remotes.
Yeah, exactly, like the buzzers.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, those are fun.
Game.
Those are fun. I feel like I like those more. Obviously, I like those more when like I'm playing with other people. But I don't know if I just sit down and play a trivia game by myself.
No, that's just sad. I'm not that smart. Can't be doing that.
Back a couple years ago when they had that trivia crack game come out on the phones. Oh man, I was so good at that game. I should download that again. Yeah, that was fun. That was a good game. And you weren't necessarily like, I mean, you were playing against other people, but it was like at your leisure because it was like online. So you didn't have to worry about being in person. Oh, this would be really good right now. I think I'm going to do that.
We'll wait until after the podcast is over.
Yes, well, yes.
Yeah.
Everyone starts.
Yeah.
I'm just doing trivia while you're recording.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. Kelly, do you want to say the plugs before we get into the interview with Markus?
Yeah, let's plug it away. So if you're not already, please follow us on social media. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram at Precisely Podcast, where you can see all the fun pictures and things that we post. Also, check out our website, precisely.live, which has information, merch, old episodes, and also newly added to the website, the beers that we drank that episode. There'll be a picture and information about what we drank. And that's pretty much it for those.
I got to check that out.
Yeah, I mean,
as of
right now, it's not published yet, but it will be published at the end of today. So by the time this episode comes out, it will be on there.
Cool.
So, yes.
Yeah, I know our last episode, we drank like 6 or 7 different ciders throughout the episode. And it was pretty fun.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I enjoyed that episode a lot.
Yeah, it was very good. All right, Markus, Mr. MKN_retro gamer.
Yellow.
What's your earliest memory of gaming?
My earliest memory of gaming is when my family lived outside of Stockholm. We had this neighbor. He was famous for... He was some sort of old army guy. I don't know what he did. But he had like a smoke machine for that you use in wartime. So you can like put fog all over the neighborhood.
Oh.
He had one of those.
What?
That's what my parents told me. I never saw that, but he had all kinds of technical gizmos, and I think they had like a Philips video pack. I think are those the Magnavox Odyssey in the States? Maybe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep.
I think they had some sort of thing like that, and very very basic graphics. And they left me alone in the basement with that one, and I was perfectly happy.
Oh,
Wow.
that's great. So your neighbor, he never lit off the smoke machine to like make the city foggy for a day?
No, they were always joking about it, and I don't know if he really had one or whatever it was. Maybe it was just a disco smoke machine. But and why would you have that as
anyone
use it for? Yeah, what's the point?
It would be cool though.
Yeah,
It reminded me of something I haven't thought about in the longest time. My neighbor, like houses down, like probably like 2 blocks down, but we could always hear him like every Saturday morning. He would be outside playing bagpipes. And oh my gosh, it was so loud, but it was great. Like it was good Irish bagpipes, and we loved it. But I'm sure like the next door neighbors hated him. Like it was so loud.
Pretty cool though.
That is cool.
It's like being woken up by a rooster, but it's only fun for 5 minutes.
But it's an Irish guy. Just belting away.
I would think that I'd rather be woken up by bagpipes than a rooster, honestly.
Yeah, because the rooster never stops. They go all through the day. I don't know what's wrong with them.
And the rooster is like not musical at all. It's just like yelling, and then bagpipe is just like you can play "Oh Danny Boy" or whatever for 3 hours or something. I don't know. So I'd rather the bagpipes.
Yeah.
All right. So when did you start collecting video games, Markus?
Oh, I think back in 2015 or something. Mm-hmm. We can always check my Instagram account if you care to scroll 700 posts back. Then I started. I got the urge to play Advance Wars again. That's my favorite game on the Game Boy Advance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, such a great game.
Yeah, so my first Game Boy Advance was GBA SP, the clamshell version.
Mm-hmm.
And
what color was it?
Black.
Okay.
And I got it when working for a company that actually we did a lot of event marketing for Bergsala, which is the Swedish or Scandinavian reseller. I read somewhere they're the only third-party reseller of Nintendo stuff anywhere in the world, still in existence because of that man Ove Bergsten had a very, very close relationship with Nintendo.
Interesting. I'm familiar with him. Yeah.
Yeah, and they live. It's in Kungsbacka. That's where I grew up. So this was in Gothenburg, and blah blah blah, and lost track. And I wanted to play again.
So Advance Wars essentially got you back into collecting.
That's cool.
And I bought one SP from one of those ugly tribal ones from eBay and Advance Wars. And I quickly learned about fake games the hard way. Metroid Zero Mission, which was fake from France. eBay reimbursed me, so no problem there. And then it just started growing small.
That's pretty cool. I like
that's awesome.
I like that that's the game that got you into it too. Like that's cool because a lot of people are just like, oh, I'm buying back my childhood and stuff, but that's like a cool like game to have, like because most people are like, oh, it's Mario or whatever. But Advance Wars is not one that you have. Like I don't feel like a lot of people are like, Advance Wars is just really hitting my nostalgia.
It's such a great game.
Now we know.
It gets boring.
It's good. It's one you don't hear people talk about a lot, so that's cool.
Did you play it back in the? Yeah, I agree. Did you play it when it first came out, like in 2003 or 5 or whenever it was?
Yeah, I did. I back then I bought games because that's the only way you could find them from sorry, that's just a stupid thing to say as opposed from stealing them.
Right.
Yeah, instead of them falling into your lap from the sky when you're outside.
You can down. I had a flashcard back then, so as well. But I furiously researched what games are good.
Yes,
and Advance Wars was one of those games that had massive popularized by reviewers everywhere.
Yeah, great ratings.
And I just fell in love with it. It's so colorful. It's so fun. It's quick. Everything you do is quick.
It is.
If you get bored of the cutscenes, you can always just disable them and still play for hours. And even if you beat the game, you can play it again, or you can play extra maps and against other persons and so on. So endless of fun.
Man, you got me wanting to buy it back again.
You need to have it.
Yeah, I think I had it CIB and I sold it.
Oh.
And I probably shouldn't have done that.
Oh no. This is going to be this is today's purchase, because usually somebody always ends up buying a game in the middle of a podcast. It's like, oh yeah, we were talking about that 10 minutes ago. I already bought it.
Yeah. Oh man, that's great. I am going to buy it though. Living in Sweden, what is the retro collecting scene look like? Is there one? Are there events? Are there stores?
Yes, there are stores, there are events, and it's a very lively community.
Wow.
We have usually, I say because we didn't have any events this year, but there's usually one in Malmö, which is our third largest city. There's one in Gothenburg, close to me here, where I usually attend. I've been there once, so usually it's a bit of an overstatement, but I should have gone this year if they be open. There's one, I don't know if there's one in Stockholm, the capital, but there's a smaller one in not far from Eskilstuna. It's a place called Västerås, that's basically part of the Stockholm area. That's they have a retro gathering there. And I think those are the three big ones. And then there's one in Oslo as well. Oslo is not that far from here, so I could go there if I wanted to, but I've never been to Oslo, so I don't know why I'm talking about that one. And there's stores. In Gothenburg, we have my favorite store, which I always go to whenever it's open, Boutique Macapär, which is sort of basically boutique gizmo or store, gizmo store, if you want.
Okay. That's cool.
Translated. And he's got everything. He's got retro clothing, as in 80s, 90s clothing, and he's got small Japanese figurines. He's got a lot of Japanese import stuff in terms of gaming, but he also buys in from people coming to him and selling, their collections and so on. And he's got Masters of the Universe, He-Man figures, and
dope. So this sort of sounds like what Kelly has going on.
Yeah, that kind of it's very similar. That's really cool.
It's very, very similar, and he's such a nice guy. Markus is his name as well. He's never too busy to talk to you, and he's very considerate. He actually gave me a Christmas present this year. I had no idea, and we was in cahoots with my girlfriend when she bought a Christmas present at his store for me. So
cool.
Yeah, I saw that post. That was really cool that she went out of her way to find a game that you didn't own.
Yeah, and I almost bought it.
Yeah,
when we were there, she was like, she's never in a hurry to get me out of there. And this time she was, well, come on, what's wrong? Are you not into this anymore? Are you getting bored with my obsession of video games?
Oh,
no, I was very relieved to find out that was not the case.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So do you guys have specific video game stores there, like GameStop and stuff, or any kind of specific retro gaming stores at all?
I think they're all closed down by now. I don't know if we had GameStop, and in the 80s and so on, we had other stores, of course, that were prominent in gaming. But I think nowadays there's just the big
The big stuff.
consumer electronic stores, where you go
Yeah.
buy
Like Best
dishwashers
Buy.
and new TVs, and they have Nintendo, Microsoft, and PlayStation.
Gotcha. So then do you do are there thrift stores and yard sales? Is that a thing?
Yes, people do that, and a lot of people in the retro gaming community do that. But for me, I like to spend time elsewhere. So I've tried to go to thrift stores, and I found maybe one or two good things there once. But I actually found those cassette tape holders.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
If you've seen my post about those, it's in faux wood. And plastic pull-out cases. It looks really nice, so I place all my Famicom cassettes in there.
Oh, okay. Very cool.
I found those at a thrift store, so that's a good find. But I know people find all sorts of things. I see them posted on Facebook and on Instagram, but I don't really find the time to do that. So I pay a little extra and go to people like Kelly stores and buy stuff.
Yeah. I don't blame you. Honestly, it's great when you do find something there, but time is also money too. And if you just want something and you want to make sure that it's good condition, just buy it, Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like there is a Goodwill by my house and Kelly's, and I know exactly where the games should be, not like they're always there, but I always just streamline it there if I am driving by and see if there's anything. If there's not, I just walk right back out because there's nothing else that I really want. I don't want to go through all the shirts and stuff. I just want what I want, and if it's not there, I'm out real quick. But it is time consuming, going on the hunt. But
absolutely.
I saw a collection once on a Swedish show. He has everything CIB. It's wall to wall with games, and they're in mint condition. And he found all of them in the wild in 2 years.
Oh, wow!
How the hell do you do that?
What year was that, though?
That was this year. He's the guy I bought the Vectrex from, and apparently he works as when you get when your toilet gets clogged up. You need to call the
plumber.
Plumber.
Well, he's not a plumber. They come with a huge car and flush out the
sewer.
Sewer tank car.
Yeah.
So he says that. Okay, so I come there and I help them out, and you're their savior at that time. And he asked them if you have any old games lying around. And they're so happy because he's really helped them out.
Oh my gosh!
So he just every single week he finds something.
Wow,
that's
he's
the job
smart.
That's really smart. But you need to have.
We all need shit jobs. Yeah,
absolutely. That's smart. That's a smart.
That is smart. So he gets paid.
Poop, I guess. So
yeah, so he gets paid by them, and then he's like, do you have any video games as a tip?
Yeah.
But without saying it like that, I'm sure. That's great.
I don't know what he pays them, or if he, everyone knows how to look up a price today. So
exactly.
They're just happy to. And most people that he asked, I guess, don't want it.
Yeah. They just want a toilet that works because they probably need to shit real bad.
Yeah. I know. I've been in that situation. I live in an apartment where the toilet stopped working, and when that guy comes, you're so grateful.
Yeah, and you also want them to leave right away too. So it's like, you want video games? Here you go.
Take and leave.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. So I mentioned this earlier, but are there arcades in Sweden? I'm sure, you can't go to them right now, but are there?
Had some weird ass law in the 80s that sort of it didn't forbid, but it set an age for 16 to play arcade games because it fell in under gambling or something.
Whoa!
I haven't really researched this, so I'm just talking shit right now. But there's something like that. It was some sort of reason that really didn't make having an arcade profitable. So there were a few at amusement parks. So in Gothenburg, we have Liseberg, which is the biggest amusement park in Sweden. And they have a big house where we, when we were kids and we weren't 16, we used to try to sneak in there past the guards. Because once you were in, you could have come in with your father or so, and so they can't kick you out.
Okay.
But you just get past the guards to get in to play Street Fighter and so on.
Oh, cool.
Wow.
So yes, there's one arcade that I know of, and I guess there's others in other amusement parks. And nowadays, there's of course privately owned people like retro in the retro community that's so on. And there's a bar in Gothenburg as well that has a sort of like a youth center. Back in
Interesting.
It's a bar. It's not a youth center, so would you get that clear?
Yeah.
But it's like a youth center because they have all the stuff. They have pinball machines. They have you can play Jenga. It's like giant Jenga.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, cool.
And they have pool tables and arcade machines and so on.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah, so we would call that like a barcade.
Yeah.
And there's one in every city, I want to say.
Now, it didn't used to be that way, but
it didn't
now
used to be that way.
Yeah, I've seen once you mentioned barcade, I realized that I've seen photos from them in Stockholm as well. So I guess they're a bit here and there.
Okay.
That's interesting. I'm glad I asked that because that's crazy that law was a thing. So is it still a thing, or?
Yeah, probably, I would say.
Interesting.
Because I know that the Retrospelsmässan, which is the retro gaming expo, that's the one here in Gothenburg, they have sort of a section about that on their homepage.
Oh, wow.
And they have a huge arcade. When they have that event, they have a huge arcade where you can
just go free to play, so it's not gambling then.
Interesting. That's cool. I'll have to look more about that. That's an interesting fact I didn't know.
Yeah.
Cool. So my experience with arcades were usually when we went to the Canary Islands or on holiday. That's when you, as a kid, can go into arcades deluxe and just go bananas. My mom forbade me to go into those. We went for 2 weeks to Lanzarote when I was 12. That's the Canary Islands. And the first week I didn't have a tan because I was spending time in the arcade all the time, just watching stuff. I didn't have that much money, so maybe I could play a few games, but just looking at stuff, looking for quarters or in the when the money drops out, just checking everything, just trying to find some money.
Oh, absolutely.
I remember those days.
Yeah, 100%. You walk in the arcade and mom wouldn't give you any money, and then you're just like shaking the machines violently, hoping that a quarter falls out until somebody notices you and they're like, hey, don't do that.
Yeah. I mean, when you tell a kid they can't have something, but now you can have something, believe me, you just go batshit crazy and that's all you want them. It's like you're addicted to something that you never tried before.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what's your favorite system to collect for?
Oh, definitely the PC Engine.
Okay.
Nice.
I bought that for, I guess it's almost 2 years ago now. From that Boutique Macapare at the Retrospelsmässan. And I was sort of, we never had it here. There was a release in Europe, but it was mainly in Spain, UK, and France, and they were all different agents for it. So it was named differently in all those countries and so on. So it wasn't a huge deal, not like the TurboGrafx in the States. And,
which also wasn't a huge deal in the States.
No, it wasn't a huge, but you had it. I mean, I maybe saw screenshots from it on the back of the cart on the Commodore 64 version, which was so much worse. But when you saw the PC Engine, it looks amazing. And you can see it maybe screenshots in computer magazines and so on, but we never had it. So that was sort of a system I was sort of intrigued by, and I tried it. And there's so many fun games, and it looks so good. And also that format, the cards. It's just your collection is so small. I have 43 cards, and it takes up less space than anything else I have. Even my PCN, even my Neo Geo Pocket collection, which is like 5 games, takes up more space than the 43 cards. Oh, that's an exaggeration, but you get the idea.
That's cool.
No, I agree. It's very small. Even with the cases, it's very small. The cases are skinny and stuff. It's something I wanted to collect for and absolutely loved, but as soon as I got an EverDrive, I was like, I'm just selling all these games. Like, I don't need them. Like, as much as I'm a collector, I also have limited space, and something
and some of the games are expensive.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It was too expensive that, like, I wanted to keep playing it, but I wanted to play all of them without breaking my bank. So, a $200 EverDrive compared to thousands of dollars for a few video games,
Mm-hmm.
And also like the TurboGrafx 16, like you were saying, I never even heard of it until I started collecting. Like I knew no one that had one. I didn't know what the cases looked like if I was going thrifting, because they would probably be in the music section, with the CDs.
Yeah.
Like I probably missed out on a bunch of them because I never even knew about them until 5-6 years ago, probably. But yeah, it's a great system.
Sure is.
So, what's your favorite piece in your collection?
Oh, that has to be the Vectrex.
Yay. I thought so. I had a follow-up question just in case you didn't say Vectrex, because I wanted you to talk about the Vectrex. So yeah,
because that's such an odd system. And that's mainly the only reason I wanted it, because it's so different from anything else.
It's like a mini kiosk. It has its own screen, but it's huge.
It's like not a huge. It's like it's really small, actually.
Is it?
I guess it's maybe a 12-inch screen, maybe. But it's in Tate mode, which I learned how to pronounce. It's portrait mode.
Okay.
Okay. And you have, so maybe it's about, I don't know inches, but let's not talk about size. Because that will just translate badly. It's really small, much smaller than I thought, actually. So, and it has a built-in joystick in a cover. So you flip down a cover and you have the joystick there. It's 4 buttons, an analog stick, and you have a second controller port so you can play actually against other people. And the screen is not a CRT. But it uses a similar technique, but instead of drawing a line by line down the screen, it draws a dot and connects that dot without a dot. So it basically just draws in lines. So everything is super sharp.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have color. So if you want to add color to a game, you use overlays, which works really, really good. For example, in Scramble, you have the top of the cave, that's a red part. And then in the middle, there's a yellow. And in the bottom, there's a green part. So everything sort of has a color gets the color of the overlay, and it looks really good.
Oh, it looks so cool. I'm looking up images of it now.
Yeah, my buddy has a Vectrex, and he had been looking for one like complete, I think, for a couple years, and he finally found one that was suitable for him at the Too Many Games Festival a couple years ago. But it is super cool, and like he's the only reason I pretty much know anything about the Vectrex, because most people don't either know about it or care about it. But it's a super cool system, and like it definitely doesn't get enough love in the world.
No, it doesn't.
No, I've never heard of it before until I started collecting retro gaming stuff, and I started watching Classic Game Room on YouTube.
Mhm.
And Mark, he always talks about, or the Vectrex, and he has this, radio voice.
Yeah.
And which is okay. So what is this? And I started seeing, and the guy Markus at Boutique Macapare, he has one in the store. So I got to try it out there and so on. And that one isn't for sale. And they never come up in retro gaming groups in Sweden. You see them like maybe once a year, and they're pretty pricey, about $300.
Yeah.
So as I said, the guy I bought the Vectrex from. He was in an interview on another YouTube, a Swedish YouTube channel, and he tried to flip that Vectrex onto the guy interviewing him. And it's like, okay, he didn't buy it, did he? Because he didn't post anything about it afterwards. So I was like, I contacted him on Instagram and about, did you sell that, or is it still for sale? I'm sorry for budging in here. I'm just curious. No, it's still for sale. Do you want it? And I was just, yeah, what, okay, what am I doing? How much do you want for it? What's condition is it in? And all those things. Is there anything I need to know about the Vectrex? Does it need a recap, or all those things that you've learned about when in the retro gaming community? It's like there's a bunch of systems that has generic flaws that you just need to get sorted, or don't make a mistake buying that one because you'll spend $800 on
trying to fix it
or whatever. Yeah. And he wasn't. I had FOMO, huge FOMO. He wasn't really quick on replying, and I guess he's a family man and he's got his life, and I don't blame him. I mean, but I was like, just don't sell it, don't sell it. But he was super nice, so
good,
and he packed it up real good and sent it to me. So he lived about 3 hours away from here, but you got to find time to do that. And so he shipped it. It turned out perfect.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, it's one of my favorite things to see on your page because nobody talks about it. It's such a obscure piece of history and of gaming history at that. I did look up the dimensions of the screen, and it's a 9x11-inch screen. So it's sort of like a computer paper size.
Yeah. That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the only time I've ever seen them in person is at Too Many Games, and that's it. Like, maybe I've seen like 5 Vectrexes tops in my life, but they just don't show up very often. And when you do, you're right, you have to make sure that they're not having like any cap issues or anything, because I know that was a problem with them burning out or whatever, and after certain years of play.
Yeah. I almost had the chance to buy one, or I did, but I opted not to because it was just like too pricey for me, and I was like,
it's not cheap.
How much did they ask for
it? So this one was complete in box, like it had the original box too, and I think they wanted $450 or $500 for it.
Sounds about right.
And I was just like that is like an appropriate price, but when most of my kiosks cost less than that, I hesitated.
I gave roughly $300 for mine as well. Bought a couple of games with it as well, but I was like, this chance is not coming again. So
yeah,
very much.
I've got to jump at it if I want it.
Yeah,
just I can always flip it.
That's
how I think about everything. If it's fairly priced, and if I don't like it, well, sell it. If you don't like it,
exactly.
That's a good way to look at things. Whenever I like buy a kiosk or something, I'll always ask my wife, get her permission first, and she'll always be like, "Do you think you're going to see another one?" And I'm like, "No." And she's like, "Is this a good deal?" "Yes." "Then I guess get it." But like I always have to ask permission first and make sure that it's fine, and like talk about it with someone else. But yeah, I mean, FOMO for real. Like the N64 kiosk I got at Too Many Games, and Kelly was there the day before this. It's a gaming expo, and Kelly texts me a picture of it, and she's like, "Hey, there's a kiosk here, N64." I'm like, "Oh my god, like I want it. Tell me about it. How much?" Blah blah blah. And like it took her fucking forever to get back to me. At least like time felt so slow. And I'm like, why is she not responding? And probably like 10 minutes went by.
Yeah, it's so funny because I was there. Like, it's a huge expo, so I'm like seeing people looking at stuff. Like, I'm not on my phone actively, and then also I'm in a giant like concrete building with thousands of people. So you know the
like
service isn't good either.
Yeah.
And I like finally look at my phone, and there's like 20 text messages from the kiosk, and I'm like, "Well, man, calm down. It's here." I didn't think anybody was gonna buy it. Like, I didn't think the right person was there, and plus it was Saturday, so I really also didn't think anybody would buy it because they usually buy on Sundays and stuff. But yeah, no, it was funny though.
It was funny, and then I ended up getting it for a steal, like $300. Plus, they threw in an extra controller, and like the TV needed to be replaced, and I need to replace the one that I replaced it with already. But and the controllers, I had to replace the thumbsticks on. But like $300 for a whole standing kiosk, like I'll take that any day, you know.
Yeah, it seems very, very reasonable.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. So, what is your favorite video game, or if you don't have one, your favorite genre video game?
Oh, this is a question that gets asked a lot in when people post on Instagram, and I feel like I'm always answering differently because it depends on the day, you know, your mood. But since I got the PC Engine, I've gotten really much into shmups, and there's one that I played as a kid on a different system, but R-Type, the original R-Type, I played on the PC Engine, and it's such a fun game, and it's hard as hell.
Yeah,
and I've just the Japanese version was split up on 2 hue cards. So if you use R-Type 1 and R-Type 2, so basically the first is just the 4 first levels, and the second one starts with level 5. And I got R-Type 2 first, which is, it's like you survive for 20 seconds.
Yeah, right.
And you're just like, okay, this was hard.
Yeah.
If you haven't played it before, you know, just trying to stay alive is hell.
It is.
And but now that I've actually managed to beat R-Type 1, which basically means the 4 first levels, I'm starting to, but I want to beat it. So I get all the, you can bring, with the code, you can bring all the power-ups you had when you beat the game. You can bring it on to R-Type 2.
Oh, wow.
So I want to beat it. I mean, I could find the code on internet and go on, but I want to, you know, honestly beat the game and have as much power-ups as I can, so I can have a fighting chance, because level 5 is nightmare.
Yeah, I bet. So with the PC Engine and turbo graphics, for the people that don't know, there's a switch on the controller that you can turn it on turbo mode.
Yeah.
So with the turbo button on the PC Engine, does it rapidly fire shots then out of your spaceship?
Yeah, it basically, on the fastest setting, it's like a steady stream of shots. So it does get a bit simpler than just mashing the button but you can't do the power up with the turbo on.
Okay.
You know, the powered up shot when you charge it and release. So that's the caveat though. So, but I usually go with once you power up and you have the orb in the front, and shooting in different directions and so on, it just mashes through everything.
Yeah. I played R-Type on the Super Nintendo, and I think I got to the second level, but it was like really tough, and I immediately died if I did. So, yeah. tough game. I hope you get to level 4 with a bunch of power-ups. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I hope so too, but you usually die at the start of level 4, so...
Right? So, simple question.
Mhm.
Handheld or console?
Oh, I gotta say handheld.
Yeah.
Which is, I said different answers to the same question every day.
Yeah, exactly. I think Kelly and I are handheld too.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I love just being able to sit in bed or sit in the sofa, really, or on a bus when you actually
anywhere.
ride a bus. But, or when in the toilet. I love playing games in the toilet and staying there until my legs fall asleep and I can barely stand up.
Oh, that's so great.
So do you like keep a basket in your bathroom?
Like gripping the what do you call it, the sink, but in the bathroom. That's the where you wash your hands.
The sink. Yeah,
the sink. I'm gripping that for 5 minutes, just getting
trying to stand back up.
Trying to stand back up is horrible. And worth it.
Do you like keep a basket of like handhelds in your bathroom then? So like when you go to the toilet?
No. I had friends like that when you were a kid. They had like stacks of magazines.
Yeah.
But I was sort of a neat kid, so I had my my comics in binders. I was really careful. So there's no such things I could have. Maybe I should put in some. But then people would just sit down on the toilet and then notice them, and then you don't want people with rising up after starting. So.
That's true.
I actually have one handheld always by the toilet in case it's a long session on the toilet. And that goes back to our most recent podcast before this one. It's the Oregon Trail handheld.
All right.
So I can play that while taking a number 2, and it's pretty fun.
Die of dysentery.
Exactly. While on the toilet, while my legs are falling.
Isn't like one of the side effects of dysentery like a lot of pooping or something? Isn't that?
I'm sure. Yeah.
I think so. I think that's basically what you do until you die.
Interesting.
Yeah, you're just dying by shitting yourself.
Oh no, that's terrible.
Dehydration. Yeah, but my favorite console handheld is the Game Boy Advance, and I really like the original Game Boy. But with the Advance, you have the option of the entire original Game Boy library, and all the things up to the Game Boy Advance. So, hands down, the best console ever.
Which Game Boy Advance?
The SP.
The SP?
AGS 101. With the backlit screen.
See, I just find it too small for my hands.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. I was going to say I also agree with you in the fact that the Game Boy Advance SP or the Game Boy Advance is the best like handheld hands down, but the SP is just too tiny in my hand, so I like having the original, but I have the backlit screen mod because
we're old and we need to see.
I need to see
what we're doing.
We need to see. Let's see.
Yeah, I totally agree with you.
You actually just answered our next question. What's your favorite handheld?
Yeah,
that's all.
Sorry,
it's funny.
Can we talk about the next beer now? Because I'm sort of
please
go for it.
Please.
So I bought this. It's Nas Eco Ale, Echo, like in organic. Thinking it was from a castle just a few kilometers from here, which it turns out not to be. However, it's from the place where we had our summer cabin in Ydre kommun. And this is, I guess I should read the label. This is, organic ale. Nas Echo Ale is a light amber-colored ale. I'm translating, so that's why it's a bit slow. Inspired by British pub beer. The beer has a malty scent. What would you call the smell? Malty smell? Scent, thank you. I just lost it. And a nuanced flavor of bread, knick, which I can't. It's sort of like caramel, I guess.
Okay.
And nuts. And I'm about to taste this. This is 5%.
Okay.
So I'll give it a sip and see what we think. Yeah, this was good. This was not as bad as the one I had yesterday.
Good.
Yeah, I'm not used to describing, but it was just not lager, but yeah, basically an ale, lightly colored, lightly flavored. Refreshing.
Okay, that's
Sorry
cool.
for not being more equivalent.
That's cool. No, I think I actually I commend you for the on the spot translating and like thinking in a different language. I know it's difficult, so I appreciate that you are speaking to us, and I guess your native tongue is not English, so
No.
yeah, so that's really cool that because we haven't had anybody on here that technically I think our other country that we've had on here is Canada, so I don't think I think they were primarily English speakers, but it's cool to have a non-native English speaker with us and to learn a little bit more about things across the pond. I'll crack open my next one as well with you. So I have this one so Beau got me like a 4-pack of beer for Christmas. And this one he gave me is from Thomas Hooker Brewery. It's called the Hubble Sequence, an Indian Pale Ale with Galaxy and Mosaic. So it says, character, out of this world. Exploration of the Hubble Sequence will reveal an egregious amount of Galaxy and Mosaic hops, highlighted by a simple grain bill. Notes of pineapple, peach, and mango are framed by an earthy backbone, which combine to offer a cosmic taste experience.
Ooh.
So it's a 6.3%. And Thomas Hooker is in Connecticut, which is, I don't know how familiar you are with the United States, is a couple states north of us here in Pennsylvania.
I got you down on the eastern.
Yes, on the eastern coast here.
Side, yeah. Are Pennsylvania? Do you have your own coastline, or are you landlocked?
Excuse me.
You're in Pennsylvania, am I right?
Yeah.
Yes. So there's no coastline for us. We have one body of water really bordering us, which is Lake Erie, which is in the northwestern half of the state, kind of, which is, if you go across Lake Erie, you go into Canada, essentially.
Yeah.
But we do, I mean, if we wanted to go to a coastline, it's probably about depending on traffic, 2 to 4 hours to get to a beach. Probably from where we are. The next state over has the coast, so you could go into Maryland or Delaware or New Jersey to get in there.
Okay.
But anyway, this beer is actually really smooth, Beau. This is nice.
Good.
I like this.
Is that the one with like a car driving around the space or something?
No, so it's like a bunch of almost like nebula shaped planetary shapes in like a Y format coming down the can.
Yes.
So yeah, maybe like a bunch of Tool album covers just coming down the side.
I can dig it.
Yeah. No, it's actually really good. I like that. I think I have one more left to try from your pack. I'll have to save.
You saved them for the podcast.
That's exactly what I wanted to do. I didn't save the sleds one because I really wanted to try that one. But
how was that, by the way?
I love that. That was so good.
Okay, I'm gonna pick up some.
Okay, so just so everybody knows, so in the 4-pack he gave me was like 3 double IPAs or just 3 IPAs, and then he gave me this other one. It was called Sleds, and I can't remember who made it now off the top of my head, but it basically was just like this really colorful can, and it had a sled, like a wooden old-fashioned sled on the front, and it was a cranberry shandy, so it was just like, it was red in color, and it was just like this really sweet but like kind of sour, like when you're eating cranberry sauce, just but in a shandy format, and it was super good and very very wintry. I liked it a lot, so I'm gonna have to try to find some more of that because that was really good.
Yeah, it's a Funk Brewing Company.
That's what it was. Yep.
Shandy, is that the beer or lager and sort of
so
soda?
Shandy's more like a lemonade, like
Yeah,
spritz.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's more like a summer beer, but this one with the cranberry, I guess, makes it taste like a winter beer.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
a light refreshing winter.
I don't usually eat cranberries and well, I shouldn't say that, but I don't usually eat cranberries alone in like the warmer months. It's more of a cold month. You just dig into some cranberry sauce with, Thanksgiving and everything. But
Yeah. So the beer I'm drinking is amazing. Kelly, you tried it the other day when you were over. It's from Mother Earth Brewing Company, and it's called Cali Creamin' Vanilla Cream Ale Creamsicle.
Dude, I was hoping you'd bring this one up.
Yo, this might be like my favorite beer, and it's just like a regular ale, but it tastes like a orange creamsicle ice cream. It is so good. It just tastes like dessert in a can.
Yeah. You poured me some of it when I came over. You were like, "Oh, do you want to try this?" And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. And I was like floored when I took that first sip. It was so good.
I hope this is like a yearly thing. Like, I hope they always have this in stock because it is so damn good. But it has a VW Vanagon on it with a surfboard, and it's like dripping, like ice cream cone dripping. And just tastes very creamy. It's brewed with lactose, it says, and it weighs in at a 5%.
Nice.
Yeah, but if you've ever had an orange creamsicle, this is it in beer form.
I love orange creamsicles.
Right?
So good.
Totally
Not
down
getting
for
that one.
All right.
The reference. I'm not getting the reference because what's an orange creamsicle?
Okay.
Oh.
So it's like, so it's a popsicle.
Yeah.
So you know a popsicle. Okay, so it's just orange in color. So it tastes like orange, like an orange, and then in the middle it has like a white, creamy
Vanilla.
All right.
vanilla
Okay.
kind of substance that when you bite into it, you have an orange outside and then like a white inside, and it's just it's orange cream essentially together.
Okay. So
And a frozen
a popsicle like a hard candy or the ice cream?
frozen.
Ice cream. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, frozen. Okay, cool.
Yeah, frozen.
So it's a really good like summertime treat that we would have around here a lot. Off the ice cream truck or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Are there ice cream trucks in Sweden?
Oh yeah.
Good question.
Okay.
Oh, good. I'm
But
glad
we have they sell in boxes. There's been ones around the same company since the 80s that go around, and they have like the bell, that a tune, and they go around selling. And so they sell to households. So that you buy a box of whatever ice creams you want.
That's interesting.
So they don't just do like an individual popsicle.
We actually, where I live here, there's an ice cream company in Gothenburg, and there's a guy who has his own ice cream truck, and he goes around in my neighborhood. So you can actually buy one pieces of him as well, and he sells bags of whatever it's just his business idea. He's always one day ahead of the schedule of the main truck. So
yeah, there you go.
He's sliding in. Amazing.
That's great.
I love it. All right, so let's get back into this little interview here. This is the question we've all been on our seats waiting to ask. I don't know if everybody has, but I have been.
If you listen to our most recent podcast, you have.
I've been waiting. So have you ever been to the Reader Rabbit theme park zoo attraction?
No, I have not.
Okay. Do you know anything about it? Can you inform me of anything?
No, I just listened to this episode literally 5 minutes before we started recording, and I heard it, and I was like, "Shit!" My cousins live in Eskilstuna, so I could get that information, but I don't have the time to ask them.
Okay.
But I know of the park, and I've never heard of the Reader Rabbit. It's called Kalle Kunskap, which is Charlie Knowledge in loose translation.
Okay.
I know the park, and they're famous for having white tigers.
Oh.
And a lot of animal abuse as of lately. Because, zoo parks, and it's a bit dodgy sometimes.
Yeah.
but I've never. No, I'm sorry, I can't talk about that.
That's
more
fine.
than
We're
I know
gonna
of
have
its existence.
be like an ongoing thing until we have the answers. So once you talk to your cousin, relay it to me, and then on the following podcast after this one, I'll bring up that information again, and hopefully we can get closer to an understanding of what this thing is.
I just want to know. I just want to know.
I'll see. I mean, they live there, and he has kids in all different ages, so he must have been there with them. So, he'll probably be able to answer me.
We're one step closer to knowing this knowledge.
Yeah.
Short of me literally flying on a plane to Sweden to get into the Reader Rabbit attraction.
Nobody would know what you're talking about either.
Maybe it closed down in 88 or something. I don't know.
Yeah, right?
No, don't say that.
We have hopes and dreams, Markus.
Sorry,
we will find this out. This is going to be the 2021 resolution for Precisely Podcast. We're going to figure this thing out.
Yeah, we'll start a new podcast about this, actually.
It's like one of those ones where they're like, it's like one of those like true crime narrated podcasts,
exactly.
but like the music in the background and like the soft talking, but there's just like a lot of information, and it's just like, well, we're going down the rabbit hole. The rabbit hole.
I light a cigarette.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. I'm just
yeah.
kidding. Sorry, I don't smoke.
Yeah. All right.
I'm just being one of those really cool guys that talking.
I was gonna say your smoke isn't gonna bother me from 6 hours away.
True that. So this is something I've always wanted to ask you. You have some of the most beautiful and well curated photos I see on Instagram, and I'm always like, that's a Mac and retro gamer shot. Do you use a digital camera, or do you just use your phone?
Thank you very much. I use. I try to. I can use my phone, but I try to use my. I have a compact camera, a point and shoot.
Okay,
but it's a really high end point and shoot. It's called a Fuji X100F.
Oh,
so and I bought that because I've been dabbling in photography at work. I work in marketing, so sometimes I need to shoot, and sometimes I worked as a graphic designer for 8 years. I did a lot of shoots for magazines and so on. I did product photography and so on. Not like I'm not a super pro photographer, but you've done it enough to know the basics.
Absolutely, and your lighting techniques are great. Like just the aesthetic that you have in your photos, like the color palette, everything. I'm just like, you know what you're doing. You know,
thank you. So I got a camera a couple of years ago. I got a Pentax Q, which is the smallest DSLR that's ever made. And I immediately got that thing called GAS, Gear Acquisition Syndrome. And you need to buy more lenses, you need to buy accessories and stuff like that. And it's just escalating. It basically is just like retro game collection, but in camera gear.
Terminology for that GAS.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
And the thing is, when you have all that stuff, and then you're going to go out and shoot, and then, okay, so what should I bring? I want to bring this, and I want to bring that. And how do I carry all this shit? So even if I had the smallest DSLR in the world, it's still a lot of shit to carry around.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I sold that one, and sort of I got tired of photography for a while. So about a year later, I started reading about the X100 from Fuji. It got really good reviews, and it's got a fixed lens. So basically, you got this 23 millimeter. It's a 35 millimeter equivalent for full frame, if you know what I'm talking about.
Yes, I do.
And that's what you have, but you also have all manual settings. You can set the aperture, you set the time, the ISO with manual dials. Really, you can wear gloves in the winter and do this.
Yeah.
So it's really hands-on. You need, back to the basics of photography.
You gotta know what you're doing.
Yeah, but it's also fully digital, so you can just point and shoot and be happy with it, and it'll take
Okay.
amazing photos. But if you know what you want to achieve, you can really do it as well. So I bought it, and I've been trying to use it because I want to use it, and
Yes.
I have another account for photography, and I did like one of these challenges, one new photo a day last year. Sorry, I'm just trying not to burp too much because drinking all that beer and making noises. And after the 30 days of taking a photo each day and trying to reinvent myself every single day, I got kind of bored. So I got out of photography for a while, and then I started taking photos for Instagram, and I usually use my iPhone, just put up the things you want to shoot and so on.
Yeah.
And I edit them in Lightroom on my mobile. And then I started thinking that maybe I should use my better camera. And so I try to force myself to use that one camera. And also that makes my photography, I need to think more about what I'm shooting and so on, because it's just not a snapshot. I set it up, and I try to make it as beautiful as I can. Now it's so fucking dark in Sweden, so it's not fun to shoot but right now. But especially we have overcast October, November, December. There's like one day when the sun was out in December. So that sucks in photography terms.
Absolutely. Just sucks in general.
Yeah, and when the sun sets
or not, it's like, oh yeah, great. There you go, son.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want direct sunlight, but you want at least some sort of light. So
absolutely.
Yeah. I use that one, the Fuji X100F.
That's awesome, man. That's really cool. It definitely shows. Like your photos are outstanding, and I love seeing them every day because you have been posting. Yeah, you've been posting almost every day, I would want to say. And
yeah, I've sort of hit a slump now because I'm running out of ideas, and that sun thing is really bothering me right now. So, but we had snow the other day, so now it's a completely different landscape. So I was out today in the forest, just hanging out. I didn't bring my camera or anything, but now it's the opportunity is back now.
Yeah. Absolutely. And honestly, just take more photos of the Vectrex in different angles. I would love to see more stuff about it.
I will. You should see the backside of it.
Ooh. There you go. Yeah. I'm in my kiosk room right now, and I'm just looking at all the like little things that I have and thinking about your 35 millimeter fixed lens that really so there's no zoom in
exactly.
it. So you have to frame everything perfectly. So that means you physically have to either get closer or farther away from things.
Exactly.
And it forces you to get the proper picture. And I almost want to put my fixed lens on my Canon to be forced to do that.
Yeah, and usually with a fixed lens, you have a better a lower f-stop, and that's what you call it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they're usually sharper as well. So
yeah. I'm already seeing my next photo, so this is perfect.
Yeah, do it. Go fixed, my friend.
Yep, this is good. So thank you for inspiring me with that.
Excellent. So besides your photos, how has Instagram influenced you in your gaming and collecting endeavors?
Financially in a bad place? No.
You
get inspired to want to try and buy so many games. I see so many beautiful pictures every day, and inspiring posts, and even those people that just take a snapshot of their screen. I mean, this game, I've never played this game, and there's usually, you read the description and it's okay, it's blah blah blah, and I've never heard about this one, because for a long time I had a Commodore 64 as a kid, and that one I've kept, and I still have it. That's but awesome. I never had the NES, I never had the Super NES, I never had the Master System, the Genesis or the Mega Drive, I never had the Amiga 500 and so on. And basically I got a PC in the early 90s. And so from there on, I played Wolfenstein and so on, and that was how I gamed. And I tried everything else as friends, of course, but I'm not reliving my childhood. I'm trying to try out stuff I never tried before, and I also forgot the question. Can you help me, please?
How has Instagram influenced you in your gaming?
Yes, and that's I'm not trying to relive things here. I'm exploring retro gaming that I missed.
Yeah,
so I missed a lot.
I love that outlook. That's such a different outlook than everybody else. I love that.
Yeah,
that's so cool.
And I agree with you. I mean, when you were talking about like our first question, and you brought up Advance Wars and rapidly like Google searching what are the best games for Game Boy Advance, like that brought me back thinking when I first got that system and I'm like, I want to start collecting for this. What is the best of this? What's the best RPGs? What's the best shooters, and just that experience. Now I feel like I almost know everything, but I obviously don't. But like when someone says a game, I recognize that game, that I can talk about it. But I love just researching and learning more. And I love seeing people's posts where they do surprise me with something that I'm not, knowledgeable about in any sense. Like I love learning new things. So yeah.
Yeah. And there's so much to experience. I mean, for me, I didn't have the opportunity to play Mega Man every day. My friends had it, so I played it, and you played for a couple of minutes and you die, and there's someone else need to play, and you sit watching them play for 1 hour, and then you want to go out, right? Okay, so you go out. Those kind of games takes time to learn, which I've learned now. I've got the Rockman series for my Twin Famicom.
Nice.
And I just love it. The music is so insanely good. On Rockman 2. I'm trying to play it in order. I don't have Rockman 1 yet, but I have 3, 4, 5.
Okay.
Maybe 6, I don't know. Their Famicom games are cheap as well, so you don't pay much for those.
Yeah. Or do you need to know Japanese for a game like that either?
No, exactly. I have Zelda on diskette for the Twin Famicom. And that's a bit tricky to play. Not that the translated version gives you much help in that sense, but
it's a tricky game. Yeah. You need a guidebook or something.
Yeah.
Power. Yeah. Yeah, it's tough. Do you have any gaming or collecting goals for 2021?
No, I don't think so. I just try to not buy too much stuff.
Yeah, that's a good goal to have.
Yeah, but also try to. The thing I need to play more of the games I have.
Yes.
I think we all have that problem.
Yes.
But also,
we
just
always want the next thing.
Yeah, the other day I bought the Tobu Tobu Girl for the Game Boy, the new produced arcade platformer. I bought that when it back the what you call it, Kickstarter, and I got it maybe last summer, and I played it, and it was hard and didn't really. It's fun, it sounds good, and it's amazing, but it was hard, and so I played it for a couple of hours, and I eventually beat the first stage.
Oh wow!
And then it sort of just landed on my shelf, and I haven't played it since. And then I started playing it a couple of days ago, and I'm obsessed now, and I'm making progress in that. I mean, yeah, sometimes you just gotta let things sit for a while and play it when you feel like it.
Absolutely.
But also, there's so many games I want. I mean, see posts, as I said, every day. Oh, I don't get that one. I need to try that. I need to try that.
Yeah.
I don't really like RPGs, but the ones you're posting, Beau, and Easy Peasy, that Mana, Secret of Mana.
So good. That's
I
that's
need
actually
to try
a really
that. You can play that with 3 controllers, and I have 2 daughters,
exactly
and that would be perfect for us to experience together.
perfect. Yes,
Because
and
I've
it's
done
such a fun game to play with multiplayer.
Yeah, I guess so. And I'm really curious to play that because but it's, I mean, what do you call $80 for a loose cart?
Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah. But I've played Zelda, the handheld Zeldas on the 3DS since the GBA for my girls as a bedtime story. A
Really?
lazy parent scene.
I love that.
I'm in
So
my
they watch you play it.
Yeah, I play it and they watch, and I tell them the story.
That's so cute.
I love
love
that.
that.
Yeah, and I
love
read to them as well, because just to be
Yeah.
to be on the record with, I actually do read to my daughters. But sometimes we just chill out and play Zelda, and
That's great.
yeah, it's really a good time together. We sit in bed and it's just relaxing, and then they just doze off. They you turn around and just and then
That would be so cool if Nintendo ever released a lot of like some of these classic games as children's storybooks to introduce. Like Zelda would be such a good children's storybook.
Gosh.
yeah.
And then
good thing that Mr. Miyamoto listens to our podcast.
Oh, thank God, this
steal
Nintendo
that idea
listens.
too.
So I'll be taking credit. I'll be taking 80% of the profit.
Yeah, right. Instead, they're going to sue you once they hear this and be like, "Yeah, we've already made this.
Oh no!
You owe us money."
No, damn it! No, but that'd be so cool because
That would be
think
cool.
that would translate so well to a children's story,
Especially
and I think
nowadays.
I mean, all of them are so heavily story based, and I think that's why Mario and Zelda and all those, there's a story there, even if it's not told in the game in that sense. In Super Mario, there's a story there, and it's very simple, but it's there, and you get to make up your own imagination about everything. So yeah, it's great material.
Yeah,
I love that.
It would be.
I love it.
I would love it. Wait.
Everybody start playing games to put their children to sleep in 2021.
Yeah, bright lights aren't the best thing, I can say.
Dim it down a little bit, they'll be fine.
Yeah.
I would
Blue light glasses, fine.
I would love a story about the enemy and Kirby and get sucked up by Kirby and how he experiences life after that.
Inside Kirby?
After he had his power stolen.
Yeah. Like what happens? What actually does happen?
Tossed out as a shell of a star. Naked and afraid.
Oh my God. That's absolutely true. The definition of it.
Right.
So, Markus, what's a holy grail item that you've always wanted?
Yeah, I was just thinking about maybe this question will come up, and what will I answer? Because now I have a Vectrex, I have a PC Engine, I have a Twin Famicom, I have all these oddballs things. The top of my head, Neo Geo, but that's so expensive to just, the games are insanely priced.
Yeah,
right.
And maybe. What was the other thing I was thinking about? I'm sorry, I shouldn't be silent on a podcast.
No, you're fine. Atari Lynx. I'm just going to start naming off things.
Yeah, not the Atari Lynx, but I want that one as well. And not the Jaguar. Yeah, I thank you for reminding me. It was sort of related to what I answered on your post on the educational games. Typing of the Dead for the Dreamcast.
Oh yes.
I don't have a Dreamcast. I don't have any, but I love to type. I actually work as a copywriter, so that's how I make a living. I type things.
Nice.
So I'm pretty fast, and also I think I started learning that when back in the days when you call up BBSs. You don't remember this because you weren't born in '93
No.
when you had a dial-up connection on 2,400 boards, and
Oh,
you had ANSI graphics slowly loading each line by line, and you could chat with the system operator or sysup, the guy who owned the BBS, and there were also games you could play. And some of those games were typing games where you had to type in the correct letter falling down or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I got pretty fluent pretty early on the keyboard. And I also love zombie shooting games. So that's sort of like the perfect combination, typing of the dead.
You should definitely get a Dreamcast. They are one of my favorite systems.
I should get a modded one with that I don't have to buy the games though.
Yeah, get one that's modded with the SD card. And then that way you could just add games that you want. I know the card that I have in mine that's modded is 128 gigabytes, and I have like 100 games on it.
Yeah, that seems more than enough.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
Because I think they're pretty fragile. The boxes for them as well, aren't they?
A little bit. Yeah. But definitely a good system to get, and cheaper than a Neo Geo for sure.
Yeah, everything is cheaper than a Neo Geo.
Yeah,
that's true.
And if you really want to, not that we promote this, but the Dreamcast, one of the big reasons why it failed is that you could just make copies of the games and put them on CDRs.
Right. Okay. So that's an interesting.
So you could just get the console and find the ROMs.
Okay.
Just download the CDs.
I didn't know that. Thanks for sharing that piece of information that I won't abuse in any kind.
Yes, it's fine. They're not really a company anymore. I guess they are, but they're not making
guys, I think.
So, being a listener of Precisely, what's something you would like to see us do in 2021?
Oh, an Advance Wars special.
Perfect. I am actually down for that. That is fine.
One of the episodes I enjoyed the most was when we're talking about selling games and buying and thrifting and so on, and how you both of you have more. I buy games and I sell sometimes when I've bought a game that I don't like, but you guys sort of make a profit from this and you, Kelly, have, this is your way to make a living, and you, Beau, you do it sort of quite a lot as well.
Quite a lot as a sort of like a second job. Yeah.
And I really enjoyed hearing. That was a really good and informative way for me to learn about how you do and how you think. And for me, as I said, I don't have the time to go around, and I don't have the energy to sit there and find out what a good price is and when to buy. And I just want to, can I afford this? Is this a good price? Just checking generally what are they going for on eBay and so on. And then if I want it, I'll buy it. And if I can't afford it at that, you have to put a budget for this. You can't just buy everything, even if you have money. You have to buy other stuff as well.
Absolutely.
So that was informative and really made me, because I think I've sort of shunned how people like you are doing business did before, knowing how you're thinking. And I've sort of had more respect for that sort of, you do the legwork.
Yeah.
And I pay not to do that. So that's why I have to pay a bit extra.
Yeah. It makes sense. Well, I appreciate you even mentioning that other episode, because I had a lot of fun doing that too. Because that was just like a passion episode where you don't have to do research or anything. It's just talking about what we do, for a living. And it's fun. It's fun buying and selling, because you can always just keep upgrading what you already have or getting more stuff that you want by selling the stuff that you don't want, or that you've grown out of or whatever. So
yeah.
And the light gun episode was good. So maybe not an Advance Wars episode, but maybe a tactical. What do you call it?
Tactical RPG.
No, it's not. It's not not an RPG. So it's just fighting.
A first-person shooter,
but tactical games.
Okay, like a first-person shooter game.
No.
No. Advance Wars, like.
I'm sorry. I thought he.
So maybe Fire Emblem and Tactics Ogre and whatever.
Okay.
We were actually contemplating on bringing back the Happy Hour podcast where we like dive deep into one specific game, and I think we're going to start that back up again.
Yeah, Advance Wars, do it.
Advance Wars would be a great one to do. Yeah, and maybe we'll have you back on for that one too.
I'll be glad. I can't talk anymore. I have 2 beers and a bit nervous.
Well, hey man, thank you so much for being on this podcast. Like, you did great. So I'm glad you came on and you didn't seem nervous at all. So you're fine.
It was a great conversation. I definitely learned a lot of stuff. It's great to hear from somebody else who's not in America doing the same hobby that we are.
Absolutely.
What things are like and how you do on your day to day, what you do with your collection and stuff. It's super cool to learn about all that kind of stuff. So I enjoyed it.
Thank you. Yeah, and I enjoyed very much talking to you as well. And as you said, this is one of the greatest things about the retro gaming community. We have so much in common. Yet we live worlds apart. I mean,
right?
But it's still we have this. You share the same passion, and it's so relatable.
Yeah,
it really is.
And fun to just talk to people about this. I love it. I've had a great time.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm honored.
You know, and the only thing that we didn't learn is this goddamn Rita Rabbit attraction.
We'll get there. Don't worry.
Yeah. Episode 67.
I promise you, I will get you information.
All right.
Might take a while, but I'll get it.
That's fine.
That's funny. Yeah. So yeah, thank you again, Markus. You can find him on Instagram at MKN_retrogamer. And then if you like what you heard today, please rate, review, and subscribe us and share this podcast with your friends. You can find merch, other episodes, and beers we drank on our website, precisely.live. You can donate to our Patreon to keep the new episodes coming. And you can follow us on social media for updates and pictures of games and beers that we've talked about and drank at Precisely Podcast on Instagram and Facebook. Thank you guys. We out.
We out. Thank you, Markus.
Bye. Hey,